So you're a long way from home at the moment. What have you been doing in lockdown to keep yourself busy?
Well, I've been living in Los Angeles, I think, for about a year now, and so I've been here through all of COVID. It's been a stranger, probably a stranger of the years that I've spent.
Yes.
It was a funny first year to be spending in Los Angeles because of everything that's happened now. But what have I been doing since COVID? I've been reading a lot. I've been playing computer, like video games a bit. And I've been making a lot of music, which has been like actually really great just to fill the time. Bit of writing, bit of reading, I've taken a few kind of online courses, and that's about it, really, to be perfectly honest with you.
Well, you've had plenty to keep you busy by the sound of it. So, but congratulations on Babyteeth, and indeed congratulations on the news from the Transylvania Film Festival.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Won the top award, and you won the audience award as well. So what with the film coming out in the UK this week, it kind of feels like Babyteeth week, really, doesn't it?
Awesome. Oh, that makes me so happy.
So what drew you to the film and to your particular role in the first place?
Well, I immediately, when I read the script, I fell in love with the character and the story. But I especially fell in love with that character. I mean, every now and again, I think you come across a character, very rarely, that you just know them. You know, I think it's the majority of your time spent as an actor is reading scripts or something and then trying to mine out what you find relatable and where your experiences cross with their experiences and kind of trying to grab all that and then work on the things that you'd. But with this, it was one of those rare experiences where I just knew him, and
why was that?
His sense of humor, his avoidance from certain things, his this sort of tumultuous behavior, his sense of expression, I guess you could say as well, and his charm and his complicated, these kinds of things that he's dealing with. I just all found the character that was written on the page made a lot of sense to me, I think. And it was straight away I felt for the dude, and I wanted to come in and play. He was so playful, even in the script he was so playful, so it was coming in and being able to act with that just felt right. And already in the audition process, when I went and met with Shannon and was sitting down with her and read with a couple of the girls that were coming in to test for Milla, it was such a playful thing to using those scenes and those lines, and you could just make so many choices, and there was so much room to just play in, and that was just so much fun. So I just loved the script immediately, and it's so well written, and it's based off this stage play. Yeah. So the characters are a lot more fleshed out because I think if you have a stage play, usually there's been a little bit more work in it, and the characters are very fleshed out, and it's been somewhat tested from stage to the page. So it seemed like a fair bet, like a solid bet is what it felt like.
So when you were preparing for the role, did you actually develop a backstory for him? Because we see a little bit of his, if you like, home life in inverted commas. But I wonder if you actually developed a backstory for him and what that was.
I did, actually. I think the first conversation I ever had to Shannon after getting the role, I was in Boston or something, and there was a couple of weeks out. And I Skyped Shannon. And I think one of the first questions for Shannon was, what happened to him before getting to that train station. days and years before, and we just in that first session mapped out a structure of a backstory for him. And you know, the previous couple of years that led from, you know, being there with his mother and his little brother to, you know, being on the street or getting into what he was getting into. And then as the job went on, I could twist and turn the story and make it work for whatever I wanted it to work for. But it was one of the first things I thought that I should do, because he's quite a, I mean, the character's a drifter, and the way he enters the story is with so much, you know, he's one of those characters that comes in and you immediately, I think the audience are immediately projecting what has happened to him previously, you know. He looks like he's in the midst of something quite important in his life. So it seemed like an integral thing to do is map out a fairly strong backstory straight away.
And looking at you, your hairstyle's kind of different to the one that you got in the film. I mean, the one in the film, it almost looked like you'd done it yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I remember the, you know, makeup women doing like little shaving bits, like where they like on purpose do the shave so it looked like I was maybe a bit under the influence and do it and hacking at it a little bit. Yeah. My hair now is completely.
Oh God! Oh, yeah, very different.
I've got lots of it now.
Very different.
But it was fun, you know, with makeup and wardrobe, to walk on and just, you know, be trying out all these different things. And it was great to be working on something where people weren't afraid to be quite risky with looks and whatnot. So I remember straight away going, like, we tried like a handful of different haircuts. We were shaving away and we were cutting away as it got shorter and shorter, and eventually we kind of landed with that. But it looked with all the fake tattoos and the haircut and the whole bit, I remember walking in to rehearsal in, you know, full makeup and costume, and the rest of the cast being a bit bewildered by it. You know, I remember Ben and Essie going, no. Like, we're supposed to let this guy in the house.
Which is exactly the right reaction, because that is how they react. I mean, what was it like acting with Ben and Essie? Because really, looking at the film, you've got sort of new acting talent in you and Eliza Scanlan, and you've got Ben and Essie, the more established actors. And I wondered what it was like working with them.
It was beautiful working with them. They're both, I find them both to be quite different in their method, I guess you'd call it. But I find Ben's acting to be a lot more unhinged and choicey and in the moment, and Essie's a lot more specific and fleshed out, but still risky and beautiful to watch. Essie blew me away. I mean, there's scenes where she would come in and she would have this idea and she would just like nail it, and it would be heartbreaking, and I couldn't take my eyes off her. And she was hilarious and funny and just really hit home. But and then Ben is just like Ben is just a wonder to work with, and he's I felt quite close with Ben because he's sort of a veteran, and I felt like me and Ben could relate to a lot with each other a little bit, and so he was quite mentorish, I found, through the whole film. And you know, I would quite frequently have conversations about acting and ask for his advice and, you know, whatnot. And he strikes me as someone who cares deeply, especially with this film, because he felt quite close to this film. I think he really, really did love the script and love the film. And he, you know, so we would go in to do takes, and he would kind of, whatever, he'd do his close-up or whatever, and then if it was your close-up, he'd be right there with you, you know, the entire time, and he'd be switching it up a little bit and to try to get you back in the scene and ramp up the energy. And, you know, it was very beautiful to work with those two.
One final question, and I'm sure you've been asked this one before. Is it absolutely compulsory for every single young actor in Australia to be in Neighbours?
It is, yeah. You have to do that.
It's written in, as soon as you go to drama school, you have got to be in Neighbours.
I think it's written in legislation somewhere, yeah. You're not really allowed to work anywhere else unless you have got done with it. You can do an episode or something and get away with it. But you do
as long as you've done it, you're fine.
As long as you can. So you can bypass Neighbours if you want to do Home and Away or something, but either of those two you need to do. And then you can work.
That's absolutely great. Lovely to talk to you.
It's great to talk to you too. I appreciate it.